Good afternoon, everybody. This is Cyrus here, back with another video. We're looking at another unimog that I got. This one I got earlier today, and I'll explain how I got it because it's worth noting. So this one I purchased at a store about half an hour outside of Buffalo called Buffalo Road Imports. They're a die-cast hobby store. They don't specialize, they do have cars there, but they mainly specialize in work trucks and construction vehicles and model train sets, so to speak. Now, they had a good number of unimogs they were selling there, some of which were part of this model manufacturer called NZG, which is a German model company, or NZG, excuse me, there. But a little bit of information. They had a few of these unimog models, including some older ones and some newer, relatively newer ones that were released back in 2014, 2015. This is an older model. I believe that the U140 was introduced around the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. Now, when you get this, it does come with a couple of mirrors you need to install onto the cab doors. Seeing as this is an older model, I kind of want to leave these mirrors in mint condition, so I will be leaving them on their molding sprues as of right now. Quickly taking a look at it. So again, this is, since this is an older model, this is going to be all stickered rather than painted, but it is painted for the silver lining on the roof there. And then these headlights and Mercedes badge, those are painted, those are not stickered. One thing that's interesting is you'll notice the grille is kind of a bit of a trapezoid design, and then it's partly cut off there. They had two versions of this particular unimog, well, not with the real-life version, as well as they did model versions of this. Some of them, the trapezoid-style hood here, was off-centered, as shown, but then on other versions, they had the hood extended out to where it was covering the entire front of the unimog. On this side, you can see you have a air intake, along with some molded-in fuel tanks and stuff. Two molded-in plastic lenses, and what looks like it's a trailer hitch. I know that on some of the newer unimogs that NZG made, had a trailer hitch that was actually functional. This doesn't seem to be in design in a way where you can connect a trailer to it, judging by the evidence, but I could be wrong. So I went over details, so we'll get into features. So for starters, there is steering, as is usually the case with many of NZG's truck models, as they mainly do die-cast models of trucks and work vehicles, but they usually, for the most part, will have steering. As you can see, it's a bit sticky, but that's nothing to do with the tires snagging on the bodywork. It's to do with the fact that there's a lot of friction in the wheels, but seeing as this is a model and not a toy, it's not really intended to be played with, so that's understandable. There is suspension, and if I actually tilt it upside down, I'll give you a quick look. So you'll notice that there's a couple springs. You can see one right there. So if I press down, you can see that spring moving if I zoom in a little closer. And then there's one on the other side of the axle. Also, one attention that I would like to address detail to is if you look at the axle and then the wheels, you notice the axle is kind of off-centered. That's actually a design the Unimog has that allows the transmission and framework to ride higher off the ground, and they used what were known as portal axles, a portal axle design that allowed the axle to be more off the ground. So that's nice to see that they've actually modeled that there. And then it kind of doesn't look too much like this is the case with the other axle, but that's just because of the steering bar that's there. The whole axle, or not, the whole axle and transmission assembly is appears to be made out of brass or copper, judging by the color that's poking through that oxidization. And then all that black you see is plastic, but they it does have rubber tires, though. The doors do open. There's not a whole lot of detail, but remember, this is an older model. And there's no suspension on the seat either, for that same reason. Finally, to wrap things up, just want to quickly address this. The load box or cargo box does tilt, so if you're carrying bulk material, you can quickly empty it out. The only downfall that I would have a nitpick about, I can let this slide though, is the tailgate design. As you can see, it swings open like that. It would have been nice to where they had it in a way where it could fold up and lock into place, and then you could drop it down and fold it down if you wanted to display a forklift loading a pallet into the back of the Unimog. But I can easily let that slide, in my opinion. So definitely, if you're going to get into, if you're the sort of person who collects Unimogs like this one, or at least the toy versions or die-cast models, this is one I recommend if you can find it at a hobby store that sells mainly truck and work vehicle models. The same thing goes with some of the other Unimogs that NZG has made, some of the newer ones as well. And, well, aside from that little issue about the tailgate, it's really not too big of a deal, as it still displays well. And for the most part, if you're looking into some older Unimogs, there isn't a lot of merchandise of the U140 series, so I do recommend this if you like this particular series of Unimogs. So I'll end the video there. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in some more videos very soon. Have a good, safe rest of your day, guys. Bye.